Welcome to Passion for Books. My name is Kim. Today I am bringing you a review of Contagion by Erin Bowman. I really did enjoy this book. I gave it a 5-star reading. Typically I choose more character-based books and plot-driven. This one is more action-based, going. So it is centered around the characters, but they are not as well developed and fleshed out as I typically enjoy reading about. But despite that, it is still very much worth the read. It is I would say, a mix between science fiction and tipping into horror, kind of a combination. It can straddle, I can see it straddling both of those genres. If you don't like either one of them, then you'll probably not enjoy it, but it is an incredibly fast-paced book. It does not really have places that it drags. So I did enjoy that aspect of it as well. So it's the first time I've read anything by her, and I really did enjoy it. Okay, so kind of a synopsis of what this book is about. It's again set kind of in the future. It is set in a different solar system, and they've set up a base, a kind of a drilling base out on a fringe planet called Achilles, and then there's a distress signal. They lost contact with this drilling base, which I believe is called Black Quarry, and a distress signal was given out. So the nearest ship that was available was out on another type of mission, and it got a kind of a skeletal crew to go out and try to figure it out. So the people that are on this crew are Thea, Dr. Carlo, Dillon, Nova, Toby, Sullivan, and Cleaver. So this skeleton crew goes out and tries to get them to answer, and then they find out there's also a second, more experienced crew coming in after them as they are already setting out. So that is kind of the basis behind this. They're trying to figure out why did they lose contact, and trying to see what's going on. So that is the basis of it. I'm trying to keep this kind of a spoiler-free review for people. So if you're interested in it, I don't want to give too much away, but that is kind of the synopsis of what this book is about. There are characters that you like, and there are characters that you're going to absolutely dislike. But they are still very much relatable. They're very human. They're not these perfect characters that you try to emulate or anything like that, but they are very human. Human weaknesses are prevalent throughout this entire thing. Pretty much everyone except for Dr. Carlo is very inexperienced in the jobs that they do. The main character is Thea. That is the main character that you follow throughout the book. She's an intern. She is a student getting ready to graduate, I think, their version of high school to go into university. This is why she got this internship, to put on her application to be able to afford to go to university, because she is an orphan being raised in kind of not literally an orphanage, but kind of like a foster home situation. So she's got a lot of things that she's having to overcome because she's been told pretty much all her life that she's not going to amount to much, and she is trying to strive to prove everyone wrong. So that is her. The captain, Dillon, she is a very flawed character, very human, flawed character. She also is trying to prove herself to her father, who is stationed out on Black Quarry, who got her the job as in the company. I think it's called Hezvet, I think is how you say the name of the company that they work for. And very arrogant, very egotistical, and makes a lot of bad choices. And I'm going to leave it at that. So she makes a lot of bad choices. Nova, the pilot, she had aspired to be in kind of like their version of the military, but because of an eye issue, even though she's had corrective surgery, it still got her kicked out of being able to be a pilot. So she's being a pilot for a company in the private sector. So she again is also trying to prove herself. The other characters, Toby, Sullivan, and Cleaver, you don't know a lot about them. They're kind of supporting characters, but you don't know a lot about them. So I'll leave you to read to figure out why we don't know as much about those three characters. And then we have this character, Dr. Carlo, who is actually a survival of the first base that was sent out on Achilles called Witch Hazel. And something went wrong on that base, and she was the only survivor, and we don't know a ton about that until you get towards the end of the book, so I'm not going to go into that. And then the company decided years and years later, she was just a kid, I think around 11 or 12 as a survivor the first go around, and now she's much older and she needs the intern Thea because she's starting to get tremors now where she can't do a lot of the samples and a lot of the science things that require, fine motor skills. So she has an intern and all of those things going on, and it's amazing how everything was woven together, why they did not quarantine the planet with the first incidents, but money speaks, and that is so much true in this book as well. Anything for the almighty dollar, and put a lot of people's lives at risk and all of those things, but yeah. But overall, this was a very well written book. Like I said, it doesn't have many dead spaces. It is very action driven, very fast sequence of events that take place. It starts off, hits the ground running, first page, draws you in, you want to know more. I think I read this book when I sat down with it, and within 2 days, 3 max. And it's a pretty chunky book. I believe it has, I'll look it up for you, 419 pages, and basically 2.5, maybe 3 days max of getting this book read. That's how fast it went. Very easy read. You don't want to put the book down. A lot of creepy things happen, but I'm not one that's easily scared, but I can see how it could definitely be creepy to a younger audience. Yeah, so I did really enjoy it. Not a lot to go into on this one. I do highly recommend it. I do want to, in the new year, after I get some of my TBR physical books down, I want to get more books from this author. So that tells you anything. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's review of Contagion. Again, I did really enjoy it. Leave me some questions down below. Leave me any recommendations if you have read anything by this author. Again, I really, truly enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to reading more books by her. And until my next video, I hope you have a good one. Bye!